Hey, honey, I'm home from work. Great, babe, I made you a lasagna. It's waiting in the oven. It's gonna be great. No one does that anymore, okay?
By my foes, sir, they will tell me plainly that I am an ass, so that by my foes, sir, I profit in the knowledge of myself, and by my friends, I am abused. So that be conclusions be as kisses. If your four negatives make your two affirmatives, why then the better for my foes and the worse for my friends. Off the coast of the city's gone. Oh, oh, oh.
Nothing can restrain my impetuous yearnings.
Well, hello, Hugo. How are you?
Doing great. How are you, Will?
Hugo Fowler, I'm doing so much better, Mr. Acclaimed guitarist, singer, songwriter, actor. And listen, I'm so excited that the audience got just a sneak peek of your incredible talent. You are truly a Renaissance man. And I'm curious to know, Hugo, where were you born and when did you realize, first and foremost, that you had a flair for the arts?
I was born in Northern California, but I've moved about 27 times, I think, in my life or so. So I've moved all around Colorado, Wisconsin, Wyoming,
Oh my
everywhere,
God.
Southern California. I ended up in around seventh grade, ended up in Joshua Tree in Southern California in the middle of the desert. Now it's kind of like a hot indie spot now for people who are from LA who have money, and now they're like buying all the property there, and they're enjoying it. So that's good. But I was there before all of them. and I think either you do bad stuff in the desert or you end up going into the arts. So I luckily chose the arts.
You chose door number 2, Hugo, and
door number 2 was good. So I went, and then ended up going to theater school and doing music at the same time in college in Chico State, and then ended up coming out to New York about 8 years ago. So I've kind of been all around, but and I try to bounce back between LA and mostly doing New York stuff. And then I'll do some acting stuff here and there in LA every once in a while.
It's amazing. Well, listen, you have so many tools in the tool belt. I want to know though, when did your love affair with the guitar begin?
It's kind of nice. I can answer this pretty succinctly. It was my dad showed me a video of Jimi Hendrix playing a Star Spangled Banner at Woodstock, the original Woodstock. And it sounds so stereotypical, but it was the very first time I was like 12, first time I'd ever seen that before in my life. So seeing him just making it cry, but also making it sound beautiful. And I just totally vividly remember just being like, yes, that's it. This is for me. This is all I want to do. So I got a really cheap guitar for my 13th birthday and played till my fingers were bleeding. And then I got a little bit better guitar. And then I finally bought myself one, and so it just hadn't stopped. So it's been a good amount of time since then. So yeah,
Hugo, talk to me also a little bit about how you got into composing.
Oh, I mean, I think I also just from the acting perspective and just making things, I'd always kind of made my own short films and small, whatever I could get my hands on artistically. So I think I have a good eye as a whole piece. So I love just like contributing in any way. So whenever people will be hanging out with me and I'm at a big party or whatever, I'm usually just playing guitar underneath everything that's happening, underneath people like hanging out or singing or dancing or just like creating like a jam atmosphere when it's appropriate, because sometimes parties nobody wants the guitar guy there. and you got to read the room. So I tried to do that. So I think it started, really like composing real life. And then people were like, hey, you should play guitar in this thing, or you should do this. And so, so I had to get my computer nerd on, and now I do a lot of mixing and producing of my own stuff. So yeah, that's how that kind of started.
Well, Hugo, what I also love about you, and I can relate actually to this, is that, being in the trenches as a performer for many years, I was also very interested in being at 30,000 feet and kind of previewing everything as a storyteller. And obviously you have that ability as well, whether it's, your guitar playing or your composing. I'm curious, these past 18 months have been tough for all humans, but especially artists. How are you able to keep your creative juices flowing?
I think I was lucky. Sometimes the juices aren't flowing. Sometimes there's a dam and it's not happening. But I think,
sometimes there's a dam and you just got to freaking break it down with a guitar.
Yeah, exactly. So I think the most important thing, and a lot of other artists would agree with this, I think, is staying in the collaborative atmosphere. And that's even though I'm a solo artist, it's maybe not always by choice. Like I just really have to perform. So whether I'm with a band or by myself, but collaborating is number one thing that gets me through those artistic, humps or whatever it is. It's just like making sure there's somebody making something and I can contribute to that in some way. That makes me feel really good. And just, it's so fun for me to do. And it's like making these stop motion scores or like these weird movies or whatever it is.
Okay, sorry to interrupt. That's my next question. Yeah. I mean, people got to go to your YouTube. These stop motion score, like, I don't know
so
what it
cool.
is. I don't know what it is about. Maybe it's because like, I don't know, I'm like a child of the 80s and 90s and like stop motion.
All have those, the Rudolph, Rudolph the Rain.
I'm like watching your stop motion. I'm like, why am I crying? And then I'm like, well, there's probably some other reasons. But I'm feeling nostalgic from these like claymation.
I know. So
how do you get into that? Is that from your love of those claymation?
Definitely. I mean, I think my friend Devin, luckily, he's a very talented artist, actor, comedian, and he has a soft spot for those. So he makes the cutest animation stuff. And I'm so highly inspired by those same things that we're talking about, those old time movies I would watch with my parents all the time. And every generation, I think they still show those movies,
I know they're timely and timeless, but I think that's what you're creating is timely and timeless.
That's what was the goal with those. We were just like, oh, I'm so highly inspired by these, like really cute, but really like nostalgic, yet just, just like warm, fun things, that anybody could watch and enjoy, hopefully.
And also, I think, Hugo, it speaks to this childlike sense of wonder that you somehow haven't lost, or, at least you make a choice to not lose. I'm curious.
Yeah, I try so hard.
Me too, in my black hat and black shirt every day. Okay, but that's for my therapist. But Hugo, final question for you. What are you most optimistic about, as things slowly but surely start to open up?
I think being able to, like I was saying, collaborate with more people and being able to actually get in touch and be able to do shows with others. As much as I love to do my solo set, it would be great. My goal is to have a full band and have a crew and have people and do a tour. And my favorite part about acting is also doing shows because it's a collaborative team environment. And those are the things that I'm super interested in, is like connecting with people and making those lifelong connections, as well as making something really cool and special, even if it's maybe not the best show, but maybe we had a lot of fun. And I think that's what I'm excited about, is really just connecting more with people and being able to hopefully play a lot more shows in different cities and stuff like that is really my main goal.
Amen, Hugo. Well, timing couldn't be more perfect with FENIX 360, this new app coming out. Your ability to not only connect, with artists around the country, but around the world. And I've already done it in the 5 months. I've interviewed almost 500 artists from around the world. I know.
I bet you've interviewed a lot at this point. Gosh.
Well, it's been cool, Hugo. I mean, even before the app is truly up and running full steam ahead, it's up and running now, but full steam ahead. I've been so fortunate. Over a dozen collaborations have been spawned just from these types of interviews.
Oh, cool.
So Hugo, who knows? we may be collaborating.
Let's do it.
Hugo, thank you so much for your time. I'm grateful for it. Thank you.
I'm super grateful for you too, Will. Thank you so much.